Ross, big homie. First of all, you know it love. Second of all, I got to call a spade when it's a spade. You say you did it for free. Everybody do it for free.
The internet is having a field day after footage surfaced showing DC Young Fly absolutely roasting Rick Ross in front of a packed audience. The reactions have been nothing short of wild. What started as a seemingly harmless comedy moment quickly turned into a viral event that left Ross visibly uncomfortable and fans screaming with laughter.
Now, that wasn't the biggest moment. Now, that's one of the viral moments, but Boosie episode 8 million. Got Country Wayne shit like 6-7 million. Like, we do numbers, we do analytics. Our analytics, we was the biggest before you came, and we was the biggest afterwards. So you always got room to come back to be on the biggest podcast in the world, correct? You dig what I'm saying? But when you call a spade,
the clip, which has now racked up millions of views across social platforms, shows DC Young Fly attacking the rap mogul with surgical precision. He called out everything from Rick Ross's lavish lifestyle and endless self-comparisons to hustlers, all the way down to his old rap persona. The crowd's energy fed into the moment, and by the time DC was done, it was clear that this was not just another comedy set, it was a definitive takedown. The moment reportedly went down during a live taping of an event where both men were present, DC Young Fly as the host and Rick Ross as a surprise guest. At first, the vibe was playful. Ross had walked in wearing one of his signature fur coats, massive gold chains, and sunglasses that caught the light from every angle. The audience started cheering, but DC, known for his lightning-fast humor and sharp wit, immediately spotted an opportunity.
But you didn't eat it. And we respect when shit to do, bro. Just tell us as soon as you come in, hey, little homies, I got an hour. Bet, we gonna try to get you in. Man, we gonna try to get you in about 45 minutes so you can make it to your next destination. Don't pull up, act like you doing us a favor, and then just leave her without saying something. Just say something so we can know what's going on, gang. We ain't tripping. We'll push back up. Your team, we called your team. We called the person who we called when you was on the way. Guess what they said? We don't.
Ross looked like he just came from the zoo and forgot to leave the lion behind. DC Young Fly joked, setting the tone for what was about to be a brutal comedic session. The audience erupted, but Ross didn't laugh. Instead, he gave DC a half smile, the kind that suggested he wasn't entirely amused. As the crowd's laughter grew louder, DC doubled down. He started riffing about Ross's love for extravagant spending, quipping, every time Ross talked, it sounded like he just finished eating money. The crowd lost it. Phones were raised, people were screaming, and even some of the other guests on stage were struggling to hold back laughter. What made the moment even more viral was Ross's reaction. Instead of laughing it off like most would, he seemed visibly annoyed. He tried to brush it off, sipping from his glass and muttering something off mic. But DC caught it and instantly fired back. Don't get quiet now, big homie. We just having fun. You rich, remember?
I'm gonna say first of all, I don't give a
Yeah, I get it.
but I give a because
Try to make it bad.
put you as a person.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say before all that happened, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say before all that happened. Bro, I'm listening to you, Ross.
Yeah.
I feel like you wanted to. Hey!
Shut the up.
I'm listening to you, Ross. I feel like you probably one of the best lyricists from the South that we got. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you poetic, bro. When I listen to your music, I think you put a lot of time and effort into this.
From that point, the energy shifted. What was initially lighthearted started to feel more like a roast with a sharp edge. DC began referencing Rick Ross's past controversies without naming them directly, making sly remarks about borrowed identities, label drama, and big talk with little proof. Those lines hit hard because fans knew exactly what he was referring to. It wasn't just about Ross's music or lifestyle. DC was tapping into years of criticism Ross has faced over issues of authenticity and ego. The audience thoroughly enjoyed it, cheering for every punchline, while Ross sat there trying to maintain his composure.
I'm gonna take this jacket off.
Let's do it.
Yeah, you can't.
Man, stay tuned.
You can't take your foot off for nothing.
All gas.
Oh, I'm talking about for life. Darn, you know what I'm saying? You know, so it's just.
But then you drink.
We could have those debates. We really could.
Teflon was off the chain.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
and I like the way you
Different
followed up
times.
hustling with pushing it. Like, how did you know to come right back on their ass?
You got to.
Right.
Man, just Don't take the foot off.
Some fans have compared the moment to classic roast battles, but noted the real tension underneath the laughs. Within hours, the clip had hit every major platform: TikTok, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter, with fans dissecting every second. Hashtags like #Ross got roasted and #DCV's Ross began trending. Some fans argued that Ross handled the situation poorly and should have simply laughed along. Others contended that DC crossed a line, arguing that comedians sometimes go too far when they sense weakness. But regardless of where people stood, everyone agreed on one thing: DC Young Fly completely owned that moment. It wasn't just a roast, it was a public reminder that charisma and humor can overpower status and wealth in an instant. What makes this entire situation even more interesting is the dynamic between the two men. DC Young Fly and Rick Ross are not strangers to each other. They have crossed paths multiple times in the past at events and interviews. While there was mutual respect at one point, this roast seemed to expose a deeper tension that may have been bubbling for years.
You may never know who knows somebody, who kin to somebody, who saw what you posted. Because you're going to have to stand on business.
Look, bro, listen, man. I came to your podcast. I came for free, homie, no charge. I did it on Face, homie. I didn't ask you what your analytics was and this and that. I came on Face, homie, to show love. And don't make it like I walked off on you. I left early. Jose had some other things to do too. But guess what? I came for.
According to people who were present at the event, Ross came in with an air of dominance, trying to make the moment about himself. He reportedly made subtle jabs at DC before the cameras were rolling, boasting about being the boss of bosses and the reason half these young cats even get money now. DC, being who he is, wasn't going to let that slide. Once the mics were hot, he seized the opportunity to flip the energy back in his favor. Those who know DC Young Fly's comedy style understand that nothing he does is random. He reads the room, senses egos, and goes straight for the weak spots. So, when Ross started flexing, DC did what he does best. He reminded everyone that respect isn't demanded, it's earned. As he continued roasting, he hit Ross with lines that cut through the flashy persona, such as, "You got 20 cars, but you still mad. How you own all that land and still ain't found." The sentence appears to be cut off here.
Davis and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay. Both.
Found the antidote to that sour mood yet? That line hit like a punchline combined with a sermon, and the audience roared. Even people who were fans of Ross couldn't help but acknowledge the truth behind the humor. Ross, on the other hand, didn't take it well. His body language said it all. Arms crossed, a tight smile, and a visible shift from confidence to irritation. At one point, he even leaned over to whisper something to a member of his team, which fans online later joked was him asking for a PR exit plan. The clip caught that exact moment, and the internet has since slowed it down frame by frame, instantly turning it into a meme. Some fans suggested Ross might have underestimated DC's sharpness, thinking he could charm his way through the exchange like he usually does in interviews. Instead, he walked right into a verbal ambush. After the event, insiders reported that Ross left the venue early, quietly, without taking pictures or staying for the after-party. That only fueled the fire online as people started speculating that his pride had been bruised. DC, meanwhile, didn't miss a beat. He posted a short video afterward, thanking fans for the good energy and jokingly saying, "Ain't nobody safe, not even the bosses." Fans interpreted that as confirmation that the roast wasn't just jokes, it was a definitive statement.
Big homie. First of all, you know it love. Second of all, I got to call a spade when it's a spade. You say you did it for free. Everybody do it for free, Ross. You ain't the only nigga who did it for free. T.I. do it for free. Busta Rhymes did it for free. Snoop Dogg did it for free. Everybody who sat on that couch.
DC had taken on one of hip-hop's most confident figures and walked away victorious. The internet's reaction has been mixed but intense. Comedy fans are praising DC for keeping it real, saying it's rare to see someone challenge a figure like Ross on stage and come out on top. Hip-hop fans, however, are divided. Some argue Ross should have laughed it off and kept his composure, while others feel DC disrespected a legend. What's undeniable is that the viral clip has exposed the thin line between confidence and insecurity. When a comedian with raw energy meets a rapper with a larger-than-life ego, something explosive is bound to happen, and this time, DC emerged with the win. Adding another layer to this viral showdown is the history of public perception around Rick Ross. For years, Ross has cultivated the image of a larger-than-life mogul, the boss, who commands respect and operates on a different level from his peers. But behind that persona lies a long history of people questioning his authenticity. From the revelation years ago that he once worked as a correctional officer to ongoing jokes about his exaggerated rap stories, Ross has always had to fight off critics who claim his image doesn't match reality. DC Young Fly, intentionally or not, tapped directly into that vulnerability during the roast. Every joke about Ross's ego, wealth, or contradictions hit harder because those topics have followed him for years. At one point during the roast, DC reportedly joked, "You've been calling yourself the biggest boss since 2006, but you're still arguing with everybody smaller than you."
Our show. You went and did a podcast. A white podcast. You sat your ass right there for almost 2 hours.
And didn't leave.
And you talked. And the white folk asked your ass, was you a correctional officer?
Yeah.
We would have never asked you no shit like that, nigga, 'cause we got respect for you.
Right.
And you sat right there and you answered that question so eloquently,
Right.
eloquently.
Eloquently, right.
You dig what I'm saying?
The crowd lost control. That single line summed up what many fans have always said, that Ross's constant need to prove himself contradicts the powerful image he tries to project. It was comedy, but it was also truth disguised as laughter. For Ross, who has always prided himself on maintaining composure, that truth hit like a shot to the ego. Some fans suggest that's why his reaction was so stiff, because deep down, DC wasn't just joking, he was exposing the cracks in the armor. The viral fallout has been relentless. Memes of Ross's reaction are everywhere, with captions like, "When the boss gets bossed." Celebrities have weighed in, some laughing at the moment, others saying DC might have gone too far. But what's undeniable is that the video has reignited public debate about Ross's persona. Is he truly the untouchable mogul he presents himself as? Or has his confidence morphed into arrogance? DC's roast, while comedic, has forced fans to re-examine one of hip-hop's most boastful figures. Meanwhile, DC Young Fly has been riding the wave of momentum. The comedian, who is no stranger to roasting celebrities on shows like Wild 'N Out, has been praised for bringing old-school comedy energy back to modern stages, fearless, fast, and unfiltered. His willingness to challenge powerful figures has made him one of the most respected comedic voices in hip-hop culture. His humor cuts deep because it is rooted in observation. He sees the truth everyone's thinking and says it with a smile. This roast has also started a bigger conversation about respect between comedians and rappers. Some industry insiders argue that rap culture, built on pride and power, doesn't always blend well with comedy, which thrives on vulnerability and truth. When a comedian like DC pokes fun at someone like Rick Ross, it's not just a joke, it's a clash of worlds. The result is raw, entertaining, and sometimes uncomfortable. In this case, that discomfort turned into one of the most talked about moments of the year, proving once again that authenticity, even when wrapped in humor, will always win the crowd. In the days following the viral roast, both men have stayed surprisingly quiet, fueling more speculation. Ross has reportedly avoided addressing the moment directly, though fans noticed he posted a series of cryptic messages on Instagram shortly after the clip went viral. One post read, "Bosses don't explain, they move different," while another showed him sitting in his mansion, surrounded by luxury cars, as if to remind everyone of his status. But fans weren't buying it. The comment section was flooded with jokes and references to DC's roast, with people writing, "You still mad about that joke, huh?" And DC had you quiet, boss. The internet never forgets, and Ross's attempt to reclaim his confidence has only made the jokes louder. On the other side, DC Young Fly has continued to thrive off the moment, using it as fuel for his comedy. In a recent stand-up appearance, he referenced the situation again, telling the crowd, "I didn't even mean to roast Ross that bad, but when you see a lion in silk pajamas, you gotta say something." The audience roared with laughter, turning the joke into a rallying cry. What's impressive is how DC has managed to stay in control of the narrative. Instead of letting critics accuse him of disrespect, he's framing it as just another day at work, a comedian doing what comedians do best, telling the truth through laughter. Industry insiders are now debating whether this roast will affect Ross's public image long term. Some believe it will blow over, arguing that Ross's fan base is too loyal. Others, however, say this moment exposed a vulnerability that fans won't forget. In hip-hop, image is everything, and once the mask cracks, it's hard to put it back on. The viral clip didn't just make Ross look uncomfortable, it made him look human in a way that undercut his usual aura of control. What makes this whole story fascinating is how it reflects a shift in entertainment culture. In the past, rappers were untouchable figures, shielded by mystique. Today, in the era of social media, even the biggest stars can be humbled in real time. A single moment of awkwardness caught on camera can redefine a legacy. DC Young Fly didn't just roast Rick Ross. He reminded the world that authenticity, humor, and confidence without ego always win in the court of public opinion. The story of Ross and DC Young Fly will likely be remembered as one of the wildest crossovers between comedy and hip-hop in recent years. It is a reminder that in today's world, the microphone is the ultimate equalizer. Whether you're a rapper with mansions or a comedian with jokes, the one who connects with the people always comes out on top. And in this case, DC Young Fly walked away as the people's champion, sharp, fearless, and unapologetically real. This viral moment will live on not just as a roast, but as a lesson. Never underestimate the power of humor to flip the script. Ross may have the empire, but DC had the mic, and that night the mic won.